We're okay.
You're good.
Okay, thank you. Hey everybody, Rick Bassman here from the wilds of Maui on Talking Tough. It is our first gray and rainy day this season, but that's okay because I have a guest on today who's always like just a bright ray of sunshine in my life. And if she's listening right now, she's probably laughing, but it's true. Uh, it's uh, it's been a good week here. My dogs are great. Go-Go's doing great. I'm happy to report to everybody. Um, Workouts, our shut-in workouts are good. Everything's cool. Life is good. Uh, Amidst these escalating, crazy times, and we know what I'm alluding to. All you have to do is turn on the news or turn on your computer. So it's our choice. Our experience is our choice, right? And we'll talk a lot about that today, I suspect, because the guest I have on today is somebody who has been through about as many trials in life as a human being can go through and endure and come out the other side with a pretty unwavering positive attitude. And I don't know about you guys, but I love people like that. And I am very happy today to welcome a one of the very original American gladiators, a professional boxer, who holds the distinction of being one half of the first ever women's professional boxing match in Madison Square Garden. That's pretty cool. So I know every pro wrestler wants to perform in the Garden, and my good friend, I'm happy to say, who's joining us today, Shannon Dallas Hall, did just that. Shannon, so glad you're here.
Hey, thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me.
So glad to have you. So good to see you. You look fantastic.
Hey, man, living the dream, right? Living the dream and the nightmare. That's what we do every day, right?
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that? So I know how much you love social media because we lose touch every now and then. That's how I always manage to track you back down. And 'cause I know you go on it, then you go off it, and I don't blame you. If I swear I need it for my work. It's probably just an excuse to troll it. I don't know. But I swear, if I didn't need it, I wouldn't have it either. But I was looking at yours. I sent you a message right before we got on here today. And I saw your line right up front says, no hating, no dating. What's going on with you and social media?
Bro, I'm telling you, I mean, I'm sure this is like every girl that's on Facebook or whatever, but if I had $1 for every dick pic that I got, I seriously would not have to have any other form of employment to pay my bills. It's like that, you know? So I get so tired of it. Instagram, I have no problems with it. It just seems like Facebook, men from other lands and other countries, I mean, they just want to show you their penis. And it's just like, I mean, I'm not kidding, Rick. It's like a dating site. Facebook has turned to a dating site. So no matter how private you make it, you know, the dick pics just keep on flowing. And I'm just like, this is like, and they rude stuff about my kids. So it's like, I think I've got it down like 350 people or whatever that I actually know. So, but it just sometimes gets to me and it's just like, and they're like, hey, you're awful sexy, boy, nice tits or whatever. I'm just like, for some reason, Rick, I mean, you know, the lifestyle that we live in, you think that's not a big deal. I get so pissed off and so insulted. I'm like, I mean, chicks sometimes think that, I mean, I will knock a motherfucker out. I have punched guys out for like less than that. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding? I get tired of it. I get tired of the garbage. But on the other hand, your friends are there, your aunts are there, your nieces are there, your cousins are there, and Rick is there, you know, and it's just like, fuck, you know, I just, you know, getting through the forest for the sleaze. So, but sometimes it just gets to me and I can't take it. Hey, I banged you 20 years ago. You remember me? Remember this thing? I'm just like, oh my God. And so it's like, okay, so that's me on Facebook. So I'm just going to keep it down to personal.
It's just, I thought it was funny, so I had to ask the no hating, the no dating. You know what? I have to admit, some guy sent me a dick pic once. And I was like, I was so insulted. I wanted to drive over to his house and just slap him silly because what he wrote with it.
Yes.
But you know, Shannon, you know how my wheels are always turning. I'm entrepreneurial. You know that about me. And you did say if I had $1 for every one that was sent, maybe you should post, hey, for $5, I will send you a comment back on your dick pic. See how much money you can make in a week.
You know what? I already love you. You just like pay my bills next month. But what I'm gonna do is you're gonna filter the messages, okay? So I'm gonna give it to you.
Yeah, I'll filter them for $6 each. How's that? No, thank you.
Take a percentage, absolutely.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. So Shannon, are you okay saying like where you're based these days?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I'm home, baby. So we went around the world and back, and I'm back in Florida. So I just did a midnight run on the beach, and we've been to New Mexico this past year, and to Texas, and trying to figure out where I want to actually buy a home. So at 50, I'm 50 years old now. So at 50, I finally settled down. I was like, am I going to LA? Am I going to New Mexico? Because we have family in all these places, right? And so LA, New Mexico, or Florida. And I thought it would be cheaper in New Mexico. We love it there. And shit went south, and just prices went up in LA. So Florida's home base for me. So it's just, I've got my people here, have a support system. And man, that ocean is such a peaceful thing. I have to be by the water. And in LA, they don't even let you on the beaches. So I chose wisely, because during the pandemic, I mean, they got shut down. You couldn't even enjoy the beaches during the pandemic, and that's like the best place to go because it's open air. So everybody here was on the beach, and that was such a saving grace place for me and the kids during the pandemic. So I chose wisely here. We had a little bit more freedom over here than my good friends in LA that are suffering terribly. So I would have flipped the fuck out and be punching holes through the wall. You know how I am. So I need this freedom over here, and a little less condensed population. So this is home now. This is home.
Good. I'm so glad you're happy. And yes, I do know how you are about that as well.
Yeah.
I do know that. It's funny. I love to kind of sort of brag on here, Shannon, that my record, because of my height and my weight, 5'4", 135, because I was always the boss. It was like kind of cool for me to like pick on the girls in the UPW days. It was always in good fun, of course, right? And
Yeah.
and I love to brag about how my record is 1-1, 1 win, 1 loss. And my win is against Gina Carano, but my loss is against Ronda Rousey, who's handed me my ass. And I have to say though, I still like to verbally joust with my female pro wrestling friends about, hey, when we finally go, you, my friend, oops, see, I got so scared.
You got excited.
You were one person I just never wanted to mess with. And I'm looking at your stuff online recently, and I'd say more so than ever. Man, you're still in shape and fierce as always, it looks like.
Thank you. But yeah, the fierce is in a different different genre. It's called menopause right now.
Okay.
So I thought
now
that
you're getting scarier even. Okay. Yes.
dude, I thought because I'm me and because I athletic and all this kind of stuff that I would be able to miss that. I am in the middle. I'm 50 years old now, and I'm in the middle of it. I'm talking the hot flashes at night. I'm more irritable than I've ever been. I'm so tired, but then I get so hyper. My hormones are all over the place, bro. And like as a gladiator during menopause is not anywhere there that you want to be. Okay, you want to be as far away from a female gladiator during menopause as you possibly can be. I'm telling you. And so I call my girl Ray Hollett and Lori Fetrick, Ice and Zap, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with my body? Because they're like my big sisters. They got 5 years on me, right? And so Lori's like, fucking go to the doctor, get as many drugs as you can. And Ray's like, you're gonna fucking fall down. Just make sure you hold on to shit because oh my god. So I mean, they're like my mentors, but they've gone through it too. So I mean, I'm in shape and stuff. I'm in the gym all the time because I'm so pissed off and frustrated. So I'm in the weights all the time. Yes. So I wish I could go and knock people out for a living. I wish I could do that, but I'm hurt from the floor up, from the ground up to the fucking top of my head. I got injuries here and there, So at 50 Warriors, we paid the price. I wish I could still fight, but I can't. But I'm just as mean as ever, and I'm just as strong as ever. But I get tired quick. So I hope this passes quickly because it's fucking kicking my ass, man. Like this not being able to have period. Okay, that part's good. I'm done with having periods. Let's talk about the female shit. I'm over that. That's amazing. But with that stopping, I don't sleep anymore. I haven't slept in probably a year and a half. So my sleep has gone crazy. I sleep in the middle of the day. So Rick, life was hard before. It's twice as hard now, just like to try to fucking keep my shit together. That's why I was on the beach tonight running. The moon, I have to run it out. I have to train it out. I have to jog it out. So thank God our beaches were open up during coronavirus so I could keep, because I was fucking going crazy. I'm hitting the heavy bag and did everything I can. So thank God I'm still able to do this. So how old are you, Rick? You're in your 50s, right? How old are you?
I'm going to be 59 next month. You know, I think I can actually start getting like senior citizen discounts now and stuff like that.
I know, right? It's crazy that we're still even alive. Do you just sit there and just say, I cannot believe I know you've been through some shit too this past year and a half. It's been crazy for you too. So at this point, don't you just sit there sometimes and say, I'm just so alive. I'm still in this body and breathing and still here.
You know, Shannon, I take more, and that's more noticeable to me, or more present in my mind, like recently, more so than ever. I feel like at, nearing 59, 60, if you will.
Damn, that's freaking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I think I feel like I've taken a better turn recently, mentally, emotionally, physically. I'm getting back in shape. I'm leaning out. I can see like 4 abs. I mean, that's not bad.
Nice.
And I just ordered but I live pretty isolated on Maui. It's 7 miles from the ocean. You can see it from my house, but it's still a bit of a journey. We're up in the forest here. There's no houses around us, so it feels isolated. And I've got a big underside of the house. So I just cleared all the dirt, flattened it out, and I ordered a double end ball. I ordered a heavy bag, and I'm setting up a little gym under the house. So, yeah, I'm like, my body hurts. It's always something new every day. But I have this like insane fantasy in my head that I still have like one more fight left in me. So who knows? I mean, never say never.
You're a fighter, baby. That means you're a fighter. We always think we have one, and that's what drives you to train. That's what drives you to pray. And that's what drives you to get your fucking ass out of bed every day.
Well, it may be my long feared about match with Shannon Dallas Hall, but you never know.
Well, that would be your last day on Earth, bro. So, let's just keep that in the dream category.
Yes, I like to talk a lot of shit, but I think I'm going to refrain from doing that in this case. All right. I think I'd be well advised to do that. Okay. Let's
just stay in each other's corner. I'm going to stay in your corner. You stay in my corner. Let's always fight together. Let's not fight each other, because I wouldn't want that in you. You wouldn't want to see that side of me. We're home team, baby. We're home team.
I love that idea. So
yes.
let's talk about your fighting past a little bit. So can you list like quickly for people that don't know what your fighting credentials are?
Let's see. Well, it started out when I was 5 years old. I knocked the first boy out that said my mom was like ugly or something. And my first fight career started at 5 years old, and I knocked this little boy out, and I realized I had some power in that hand. And I was knocking boys out in Arkansas for cheating, for lying. So it's like I never keep a boyfriend because I was always known for whipping boyfriend's ass, right? So my fighting career started when I was like born. So I was born fighting, right? So my technical fighting career started when I made the American Gladiators. That was in 1993, I believe, when I lived in Dallas, Texas. And it was on a whim. I just did a bodybuilding show. I moved to Dallas from Arkansas, just did a bodybuilding show. I got second place in a heavyweight division, some sort, in Dallas. And me and my friends, we were going to drive to Houston and party the next weekend and eat, because my friends dieted with me, right? I mean, I have like a big family. I've got really good friends. My spirit family and friend family, probably like yours, is amazing. So we went to Houston. We were driving to Houston. On the side of the road, it said American Gladiator tryouts, right? So we were all smoking weed. We were drunk as fuck in the back of a car. We were partying, going to Houston. I was 22. Okay, so that's what you do when you're 22, right? So they're like, "Get out, Shannon, do it. Shannon's in shape. Let's go fucking whip some ass or whatever." And we were all drunk and said, yeah. So they just pulled the car over, Rick, and I swear that pulling the car over that night changed my life forever. So I got out drunk as a skunk and just as a joke to try out. And even like drunk, I kicked ass. And I think me and Jazz was there. Remember Jazz on the Gladiators, long black hair? Beautiful girl. Me and her ended up at the end together on this powerbomb. I'm like, put these two together. They want to see it. Like, put these two together. I'm like, come on, motherfucker, let's go, right? Woo! So we we actually made each other look great. She and I was a little bit more athletic. She was just a big bodybuilder girl. She was just amazing looking, right? So she was really fun to hit. So it's boom. Anyway, so we went to Houston. 2 weeks later, I got a call back from the Gladiators. Hey, you made the cut, top 10 out of 1,500 girls or whatever as contender. We want you to LA. We made it to come to LA, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? So this was great. Made the Gladiators, did the Gladiators show, and from the Gladiators show came the opportunity to do the first Tough Woman World Championship show. So I did the TV show for a couple of years in Los Angeles. I think it was alternate both years. So, you had to wait, and Siren was there, Zap was there, Ice. So you can only have 5 girls starting at one time. I was right there at the end, but during the summer I did the live tour show and was training and training and training. It was freaking amazing. So I did that for 2 years. And when we moved to Florida, which is what's brought me here, they had the live show in Kissimmee over by Disney. So they made a whole Gladiator arena in Kissimmee. And we did a live show 6 days a week. And once again, on a whim, something came through. We were all in the dressing room and they said, hey, does somebody want to judge this for a couple $1,000 for 2 nights? And I think it was in Detroit, Michigan. Shannon, you're up. Do you want this job? I said, yeah, I'll take it or whatever. And what is it? It said Tough Woman World Championship, the first woman's fight thing. I'm like, well, that's cool. They said, yeah, they want you to be a celebrity judge. And I was like, judge, okay, well, that's cool. So, well, what is the deal? And they call Art Door, who was the promoter.
Oh, and, God. So I was going to ask if the Tough Man you're doing was the Art Door, Wendy Door deal. Yeah, I won a few rounds with Art myself back in the day. He's an interesting cat, for sure. And that's being nice.
Yeah, let me show you a little tidbit about Art Door. Yes. So we asked them what was going on, and they said, first prize, $10,000. I'm like, well, what do you have to do to compete? And I was like, well, you can't have any professional fights. It's an amateur show because you win a professional contract if you win the thing, right? And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, okay, that sounds awesome. 2 days later, do you remember Christy Martin, boxer?
Probably the first famous female boxer. Yes.
Yes. So Christy Martin, they called me back 2 days later and they said, hey, well, we've got Christy Martin to judge instead, scratch that. We've got Christy Martin to judge or whatever. I'm like, they said, we'll still pay you, but we want Christy to do it because, she's more boxing. I'm like, okay, so I get paid. I said, fuck that shit. I said, let me do it. So because Christy stepped in to judge, that opened the door for me to compete. And I was like, let me do it. Why can't I've never boxed before, but I've fought since I was 5 years old, knocking people out. What do you just put gloves in and go? I mean, I'd never trained or anything, Rick, right? So flew up there. I could put my gloves on and wore some weird shit and just fucking mowed him down, bro. And I won 10 grand that day. It was 2 days of a tournament. So you fight 2 days straight. And basically it was like an endurance thing, right? So, which the girls were amazing, but I'm like, y'all don't know me, but y'all know me now. Right? So that was my start of my fighting career, which is 1996. So I won a professional boxing contract. And
let me interject real quickly. I think that's a great way to start. You can start by getting schooled and getting skilled and whatnot. And earlier you threw one a right straight, and I love seeing you throw that because thank God, like your form is good, and we see so much on TV where you see these like uppercuts and these. And it's just awful, and it's driving me nuts. Because you see it more and more these days. But you started with innate toughness. My first business partner ever, one of the toughest human beings I ever came across, a guy named Mark Carter from Ohio, whose dad entered him in the Tough Man on a lark. And Mark went through it, mowed the entire field, and won. And I remember the last video before his finals, his opponent was like, yes, I've been training for this for years. And, he's in the gym. He looks technical. And Mark just knocked him the fuck right out because the guy was from the streets and he was tough. So you started the same way, but then you added legitimate skills to the mix afterwards.
Yeah. So, and that actually opened the door to professional training. So I won that and started working with Art Door, and I moved to Bay City, Michigan. He actually moved me into the back of his gym. I lived in a little shithole in the back of his gym with Butterbean. So me and Eric Esch, man, we like lit the town up. So me and Butterbean were stable mates, right?
I didn't know that. One of my best friends in the world to this day.
Yes. So the Bean was there training. He was already the champion, the 4-round champ, right? So that's when they brought me on and moved my ass into the back of a shitty old gym and trained me like a fucking rabid pit bull back there. And so Bean comes in and eats a couple steak dinners and then goes 4 rounds and they're like, okay, there's Beans. All right, well, let's get Dallas out here. So Dallas is starving the fuck to death in the back. And Butterbean's sitting there, he's watching everything. And I haven't fucking eaten in like 2 days and like drinking water running in the snow. I mean, I'm the for real Rocky deal, bro. Okay. They fucking put me through the hoops doing that kind of shit. Training my ass off. I was going like 20 rounds with Coach Murray Sutherland. Bean was there. He saw it. He knew. And me and him, you talk about going to strip clubs. That was my strip club buddy. Okay. So me and the Bean strip clubbed it. And he goes,
I've been to strip. Me and Bean have done a few strip clubs. He's fun to go with. Yes.
He's like, watch all these girls just flock over the Bean. I was like, no way. I said, I got to see this shit. So I would just sit there and they were like, Rick, we had so much fun. He was my only comic relief and soothing during this whole time. And we did all the shows together. And I got great training in. And I mean, the stuff, and Art Door, he's got all these different sides to him, right? He's a harsh businessman. But if it weren't for him, he's the one that got me the fight in Madison Square Garden. So before we went out, he's like, hey, Shannon, do you know what's going on right here? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to whoop this motherfucker's ass. He goes, you're the first woman to ever walk out here and box in the garden. He goes, do you know that? He goes, I want you to remember that, okay? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I wasn't even really thinking about it at the time. We just had so much going on. I've been hit in the head a million times for like a year. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. But after that, he goes, he stopped me and said, I want you to remember this. So he did give me that opportunity and that title shot and all that kind of things. And that was before even women's boxing there was no regulations. I had the IFBA title, but now you go to BoxRec and I'm like, 0-1 on BoxRec. So it was before any of that even started. I'm like, what about my 20 fights? What about all the underground fights that I did in New York with these guys? It wasn't even with girls, but they said, that's why you were fighting boys. Rick, I never fought girls. I was fighting boys with Art. It took me in there. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? I was getting the fucking snot beat out of me, bro, by these big black dudes that were just fucking amazing. They were just the most beautiful boxers I'd ever seen in my life. And I'm just like, but they whooped my ass. And then they would come sit in the corner. I had snot and blood. I was crying and crying. And these guys come over here like, hey, girl, you're fucking legit, bro. And then we would go out afterwards. So they would whoop my ass. We would go out afterwards. I would come in the next couple of days. They would put another couple of guys in front of me, whatever. And I finally started getting it over. And I finally found my power. But and I talked to Art Door after that. I'm like, why? After all this was over, I was like, why did you do that to me? You could have fucking killed me. What we went through, my nose breaking and shit, you could have fucking killed me. He goes, you're the toughest bitch I've ever seen in my life. He goes, no one's going to break you. He goes, no one will ever break you. And he goes, I knew that when I met you. And he goes, that's why I did what I did for you, is because I knew that you'd make it. And I was just like, fucking A. So we had some very tender moments there, when he told that to me. So he actually thought that of me and gave me something that no one else could have or would have given me during that time. And those beatings that I got, Rick, those beatings, and within an inch of my life, don't matter if you're a boy or a girl, whatever, that has carried me through. You talk about all the shit that I've been through with my kids, raising these 2 kids alone and running all over the place. Those beatings is what has sustained me through the rest of my life to keep me going out of everything. And I have to give him credit for that. So
it's nice to hear that. It really is. I didn't get to know Art very well. We did one business deal together, and that was that. And it was a tough one. Bean, are you in touch with Butterbean still?
I haven't talked to him in so long, so no, I haven't. Been. I think
I'll reconnect you guys if you want.
That would be so cool. Yes.
Yeah, he'll be happy. He'll be happy to hear about that. I'm sure. He's back in Alabama, and yeah, definitely reconnect you guys. Which it's always nice to see good friends come back together. I love that. And
I love that guy.
You and I reconnected about 1.5 years ago, and we had a really long conversation, and it was pretty deep about trials and tribulations. I remember it well. And I alluded to that at the beginning during the introduction. You just mentioned some of the ups and downs. Okay, I think, looking at you right now, I think anybody looking at this would say there's a lady who has her act together. She's bright, she's sunny, she's upbeat. And that's amazing. I love seeing this in you. It's so genuine. So I think people will be predisposed to think, oh, hey, she's always been that way. Could you could you download quickly, like what was your lowest time in life, and what did that look like? Because people that watch this, people listen to it, are oftentimes going through the shit themselves. And I think it's really helpful to people to see someone like yourself who's doing so well, but then hear what they had to come back from to get to this place. So how bad did it get?
I mean, it's gotten really, it's gotten as bad as it can get. It's gotten as bad before my kids were born. I was sleeping in the woods. I didn't have a place to live, so I was sleeping in the woods at one point. In Mexico with a guy that was supposed to be my fiance, and he hired a hit out on me. Had a couple Mexicans jump out of a van and try to kill me with a knife and stab me, and I had to fight my way out of Puerto Vallarta, that I was not supposed to come back. So I had the love of my life try to have me killed because he was so whacked out on drugs. And boy, I'll tell you, that's a movie in and of itself. With my kids, my ex-husband getting another woman pregnant, abandoning me and my kids in LA, we lost everything, lost our house, lost our car. There has been a lot of things happen that I don't have a safety net. My family doesn't have money. My family's as dysfunctional as anyone's family could possibly be, so there's no financial security. There's no financial safety net. And I mean, to be honest with you, from the bottom of my heart, the only way I've ever gotten out of these situations, and there's more that even go a little bit deeper than that. That's just a little bit too deep to go to, but is when I drop down on my knees and I have to pray. When I ask God to please help me and my kids from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I am an avid Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, and from the power of Christ is the only way I've ever gotten out of anything. And I'm telling you right now, the source of my strength is God. And, I think he reveals to me personally, God reveals his power and strength to me when there was nobody else there. And only when I did that did things start to turn around. So I know there is a magic. I know there is a power, because only until I've done those things and dropped to my knees and asked for help did things ever change. So, personally, when I've gotten that situation where my daughter was almost taken away from me out of a horrific divorce, there was abuse unimaginable in a horrific way that no one ever else knew or believed, and went to court, and court wouldn't help me, and I didn't have money for lawyers. I was trying to do this, and only when I dropped down my knees and just when I prayed, Heavenly Father, please, I'm in the name of Jesus, please help me and my children, help me with my, boom. I'm not kidding you. When I do that, Rick, it's not within 24 hours that my life turns around. But to get me to that point, because I don't go to church every Sunday. I don't walk around saying scriptures or whatever. But God brings me to my knees. And only when I come to my knees is an opening revealed and new life given to me. So my experience with God is so real that there's no other explanation for it, because there's no other person. There's no other bank account. There's no other husband. There's no other big sister, friend, whatever. It's my faith in God is why I'm still standing here, sitting here, and why I'm such a positive person. The only love that I have is the love of Jesus Christ. And I know that it's true, and it's sad. I mean, it's not just true, but it's sad that I don't have a husband. It's sad that I don't have a father. It's sad that I don't have a backer. It's really sad. But what's beautiful is that I do have a source. So my source is greater than any other source, and it can't be bought. It can't be sold. It's something so infinite that I think that I'm the most wealthy person in the world, because you only have true wealth until you have something that money can't buy. So what I have found, and when God, the only person that's ever broke me is God. The only person that's ever broke me and brought me to my knees is him, to make me submit to him. So that's who I submit to. That's who I give the glory to. That's who I give this new home that we have to. That's who I give the health of my children to. My little rescue pit bull panda that's 13. She can barely see her here. That's who I give. We brought her. She's been to New Mexico. We brought East LA. She's an East LA rescue 13 years ago.
Yeah.
She's been with us, and I've had to leave her here and leave her there. And by the grace of God, he's provided me enough finances to go get our little baby girl. And I'm showing my kids, you don't leave your family behind. You don't mistreat pets. You don't mistreat people. So at least They've seen their mama. They know where my strength is, and we're not like these average Christian Bible banger people to no extent. People that do that, I question their sincerity. So I know the true power of Christ and God comes from you and Him and you. That relationship right there, that is the truth. Me preaching God and Jesus to everyone. Now, a preacher's cool. Now, you can go and get God through a preacher. That's amazing. But when other people try to, you can't show, He shows Himself to you. That's the only way anybody can believe.
I'm just feeling you relay a real experience, your
Yes.
real experience. And,
Yes.
and I know you weren't saying this, but you sound anything but preachy. I've been exploring this myself as of late, and I don't have it the way you have it. I oddly have had this conversation numerous times over the past year with Darren McBee, our mutual friend.
Yes, Malibu. Yes.
You talk with Malibu at all?
Yeah, we're Facebook friends, and I see his posts, and he's always been that way. He is the most beautiful spirit, the most beautiful heart, and he is someone that does reach out. And I think that if you're meant to reach out to do that to people, that's your calling. That's not my calling, but I think if you're meant to reach out to do that to others in such a beautiful way as he does it, that's amazing. That's amazing. But for me personally, I have to fucking have the shit knocked out of me, everything taken away from me. Fucking a knife almost stuck in my side. The bitch, get on your knees and you need to fucking ask for help. So that's how it had to happen for me.
Okay, so you called upon your faith to get you out. Now, you and I have had pretty similar experience, not the same details, but the same lows.
Hell yes.
Falling to the same depths. I didn't have that to get out. I didn't have any kind of faith until really just a couple of years ago. I mean, talk about waiting till late in life to open up and explore this. Better late than never, though, of course.
Yeah.
I got out of it. I still don't know how. I look back at it. I got out by sheer perseverance and just sweating it out, which I don't recommend for anybody. I really don't. So the people out there that are watching this, listening to this right now, and this may almost be an invitation to preach, and it's not intended that way. Yeah. I got what you said. I'm in a good place right now. I got what you said. It resonates with me. It makes me want to explore it further. Somebody out there listening, really, really hurting right now. You know how it is when you're hurting. If you don't open yourself up, it's hard to get any message. But yes. If you have their attention for a minute right now, what would you tell them? What would you advise? They're on the streets. They have no resources. They're all alone. What do you advise? I don't put you on the spot. Sorry, but I want to hear.
No, but I've been there, to be honest with you, and I think that we put ourselves in certain situations. Maybe it is trying to find something. Maybe it is trying to see if someone loves you, if someone cares about you. And when you're at the very end of your rope with nothing or nobody, I'm just saying, I drop to my knees, and I just say, God, please help me. And I know that, universally there's a lot of different gods or whatever. I was raised, Jesus Christ, and I know the love and the power of Christ to me. I have personally found it. It's not what my mother had showed me. It's not what my, grandparents, they went to church for their own reasons. This is something that I have found only when I'm praying. Now I love watching Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen is amazing. I love watching preaching with him, and I cry every time. And when I connect with someone that's actually has the Spirit in them and the Holy Spirit in them, and just that gift of love and wanting to help people, I feel it. I'm very empathic. I know if people are bullshitting. I know if they're real. I know if they're spiritually enhanced. I do have a gift like that. Now that's also something that's helped me get through life. I can read people very good. I'm a little bit of a psychic. Have a little bit of psychic ability. Maybe it's because I'm an exceptional athlete. My cells fire on maybe more cylinders than somebody's or whatever. But I sometimes know things I shouldn't know, right? And I know things that have came to pass. So I have a little bit of psychic ability, which is also a blessing. That is a survival instinct. For me, that has become a survival instinct. And so that was pretty sharp. But when shit really hits the fan, and during COVID, we got this house, the gyms were closed. I didn't have any clients to train. We were almost going to lose my house. I didn't have any money coming in. Once again, my God, that's the story of my life, it seems. But I'm just saying, I say, just Lord Jesus, please help me. I come to you and in Jesus' name. I know there's power in his name. That's just it. And I don't do it because there's power. I do it because he loves me. I do it because I feel the love of Christ. There is something, I mean, I wish I was here when Jesus was here. That is the most infinite love. I think, okay, that's what, now you're asking me this. I think that's what I'm seeking. I want to be loved so bad, so bad by somebody or something. Christ is the only form of love that I know that I actually feel that feeds me. So the love of Christ is what sustains me. The love of Christ is what feeds me. That is the love that I'm craving for in a husband or in a partner that I can't find. Everybody just keeps fucking me over. Okay. And I just keep getting fucked over and fucked over. I mean, I get my picker is definitely broken. Okay.
I have to interrupt now and ask you, I want to go back to this. Are you open-minded to not being fucked over? I don't mean to challenge you, but I want to put it that way. You know what I mean? We get to a certain point where we take if we don't take our past experiences into our life, then we're setting ourselves up for failure because it is education. But we can also take those past experiences and allow them to prevent us from finding something good in the future. Are you feeling like you're in a pretty open and good place for that sort of thing right now?
Absolutely. My issue with relationships is that I am very loyal. I'm a very strong woman, and that strength feeds into my relationships. I'm strong enough not to fuck around. I'm strong enough to be honest with you. I'm strong enough to work with somebody and build an empire with someone. I'm that equal partner. And so when I put all this faith and my love into these guys that said they want to be the one, and then they end up fucking around with me. They end up lying to me. Now that doesn't mean that I don't forgive, but I don't forget, right? And it's to the point of I get so disappointed. I want a heart that's equal to mine. I want a love that's equal to mine. And we talk about getting deep and stuff. I'm so deep with that. And if you break my heart, you'll do it again. And it's like, then we become friends. I have a lot of really good friends, but I'm still searching for a husband that won't beat me, hurt me, cheat on me, and lie, So it's like, I can't find it. So like, I'm a little bit isolated. That is where I go to Christ and praying and listen to the preaching again. Christ's love feeds me the love and sustains me until my next relationship. Because I'm not a quitter, okay? I'm straight. I'm not a lesbian. I look so lesbian. I'm telling you, if I was a lesbian, I'd be the happiest.
You do not look like a lesbian.
No, but I mean, I'm serious. I'm so strong and butchy, and I have so many girls tell me.
Right.
I'm not kidding you. I would be so happy, but unfortunately, I'm straight, and unfortunately, I'm very intimidating to most guys, and I can't. I just whacked all my hair off again. But
you know what?
I mean,
I'm gonna do something I've never done in one of these conversations before. I want to offer to play matchmaker because I have a guy for you.
Rick, stop it! Are you being serious?
I'll even tell you about him right now for everybody to hear. And if he might get, he's pretty quiet guy, so he may not love this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Did you ever meet my friend and John Paz, our amazing producer who's in the background right now? John's gonna know this guy, or at least know who he is. Do you know the name Sylvester Turkai? Is that familiar to you, Shannon?
Turkai? No, I would definitely remember that, but no, I don't.
Let me give you the quick rundown. Sylvester, first of all, age-wise, I would say he's 50 now, 51, somewhere in that neighborhood. He lives in Pittsburgh. But, it's just geography. He's successful, very conservative financially. He made good money as a pro wrestler and as a professional MMA and K1 kickboxer. And he saved all of it. He's really good about that. He is ultra Christian and was saying he always wanted to be with somebody who's, I think you call it similarly yoked. Is that correct? Is that the terminology?
Yes.
I don't know much about this. He's also 6'7", 315 pounds. He was
whoa.
He was an NCAA Division I wrestling champion. So you will not be kicking his ass, but that's all right. And he is truly one of the nicest human beings you'll ever meet on this planet. So I'm going to introduce you to, if you're up for it and he's up for it, I would love to make that connection.
Oh my gosh, I already feel like small and petite, like in his magnificence. Hey, if we fucking went toe to toe, you know I wouldn't back the fuck down. That's my problem. So it's like, don't you? It's like, can someone just not? Dude, I mean, people fight, but you know, it's like, but if he's that big, I mean, I guess it wouldn't matter. So that sounds amazing. What's his name again?
He's a good dude, Sylvester. You can search him. First name is Sylvester, and he's gonna love when he hears this John. Oh, I could only imagine that I'm fixing him up during an interview that he's not even aware of. And his last name is Turkay, but it sounds like Turkay, Terkay.
What nationality is that? Where is he from?
You know what? We're really close friends, and he's got to be like at least third or fourth generation American. So whatever his heritage
Okay, though, that's got to be something like
it might be. I don't know though, to be honest.
Russian. I mean, that's really big, you know. So
yeah, so I'm gonna call him later, and
okay,
be a little late his time. I'll get him tomorrow, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Now
he's not big enough. I mean, he's kind of a big ass heart. You know what I mean? So it's like that. That's a lot of it. You know,
he's a very faithful guy. He's one of you, like just as you are. You would never have that question in your mind about what he's off doing. He's a straight and narrow guy, as straight and narrow as they come. We traveled the world together on our wrestling days, and we used to joke about him. I'm not going to say some of the stuff online. So it's all nice, but it's teasing stuff, or ribbing as we call it in pro wrestling. But while we were all out carousing in Durban, South Africa, or Roppongi in Japan, Sylvester pretty much kept to himself at his hotel. Didn't go out drinking and carousing with the rest of us. The one or two times he had a beer was kind of a big occasion. He's conservative. He's nice. He's a sweet guy. And
he's like peaceful. Is he like peaceful? Like got a peaceful soul?
Very much so.
That's important. That's good.
And with all that said, I think that concludes the love connection portion of today's episode on Talking Tough. But there we go. All right.
I just pour all this shit out to you, so I apologize if it's not like appropriate or whatever. But it's like you're asking me about stuff, and it's like that is the real me. It's like my heart. But I'm out there training people and doing what I do, and making people fighters and making people this. And so the coach in me is like that. But then I come home, but the woman in me is yearning and kind of heartbroken, that kind of a thing. So, and she's there.
I know that feeling, my friend. I'm right there with you.
Is the woman in you yearning and heartbroken, Rick?
Oh, wait, sorry, say again?
Is the woman inside of you yearning and heartbroken?
Inside of me, yes, okay. Thanks, Shannon. I appreciate that. So you, back to what we were talking about, you mentioned Joel Osteen before, which is interesting.
Yes.
I'm not Christian. I'm not religious. I grew up in a Jewish household. I went to Catholic school and I studied Buddhism. So I'm religiously confused.
Studied Buddhism? That's wonderful. Wow.
Yeah. So the point being, I've had a lot of exposure to many different things, but I've never really landed on anything. I would definitely consider myself spiritual these days, as believing there's something that's greater than ourselves that we can draw strength from. And that's been very important to me. What I wanted to mention is this. We talk about people that are hurting right now. And, it's hard for us, I think, that are doing, people like you and I who are doing well now, we're doing so badly before, to remember what it was like in the moment. But it's dark, as you know, and it's sometimes damn near impossible to put one foot in front of the other. And you may remember that, you may not. It's hard for me to even, look back to that.
I remember.
And dredge up what it felt like. So I always say, like, do something. And, if you had told that to me at certain points in my life, I might be like, well, I don't have any money. I don't have a car. My back is wrecked. I can't walk. There's always something you can do. And, the reason I brought up Joel Osteen after you did is someone suggested I watch him because he has all, the YouTube channel and whatnot.
Yes.
About 3 years ago. And I was still, my mind's always opening. Next year, I'll probably say a year ago, I was closed-minded. I don't know. But, which would be now. But my mind's always opening. And I remember watching Joel Osteen for a minute about 3-4 years ago. And right away, I'm like, he's creepy. He's out for money. this is all bullshit, right? And 3 years later, now 4 years later, I watch one Joel Osteen video at least every week, at least one a week. And, and
That's awesome.
the point of it is, it's his message. And his message is about hope and
Yes.
belief and finding strength. And in my mind, to my perspective, at least, suggesting practical ways to find hope and strength. And to people out there, I'm kind of answering my own question because you got me inspired. If you're not doing anything and you can't do anything, you can always find a library with internet connection. And
Yes.
you can watch Joel Osteen, or you can listen to Deepak
On your
Chopra.
phone. On your phone. Go to YouTube on your phone.
They may not have phones. Somehow if they're watching this, so they probably have some sort of device, right? Right.
Yes.
And most people do on their phone. You're right about that. Yes.
Yes.
So there's always something there. You could put a Google search for happy, positive video and find something good. Expose yourself as much as you can to something positive, whatever it is.
And like, what do you have to lose? Yes, it's like, what do you have to lose? If you're sitting there as a void, try something that connects with your heart. And I might connect with this, Rick, because I was raised like that. My mom did have me in church all the time, and I thought it was weird, and I never felt comfortable, and she always made me wear weird shit, and I never did. But, I don't know if that is why I connect with it now, because I was raised that way. But like you said, there is magic out there. There is power out there. Look at The Rock. Look at Dwayne Johnson. Look at Ronda Rousey. Look at these people that have soared. What is it that you think that makes these people go to a top tier? What makes it different? It's their belief. It's their hope. It's their faith. There's something in them, and someone has instilled something in them to keep fighting. That is your faith. So find something to believe in that is not expendable. So you have to put your faith into something that's not material, that's not, expendable. I mean, and Christ is just the person, the love, and the being there. It's like, it's never ending, I mean, he's immortal.
There's a lot of vehicles to get there too. And I say it with all respect, if somebody hasn't found Christ, there are, and look, I'm open to that. I keep dropping names, and it's not my intent, but I've talked to Malibu a lot about this. I've talked to Sting about it a lot, the pro wrestler Sting, and I'm very open to it. I even purchased my first Bible not long ago, since I was in Catholic school a million years ago. But I haven't found that. It hasn't hit me. I like to think I'm open to it. So that said, there's so much out there that works, and I agree with you. It's faith and it's hope. I think combined with action. And because I'm Shannon, for everything you came out of, I believe your faith and your hope brought you out. But I would be willing to bet you anything that you just didn't sit on your butt either. You put one foot in front of the other.
No. I'm in that fucking gym all the fucking time. I'm telling you, you have to generate that energy within yourself too. So there has to be the mental, the computer, and then you've got your vehicle. But it's like, what drives you in here? And you have to have something that drives you that's not going to expend. Like I'm saying, what's your source? Some people have a father a dad that's great. They, give them a trust fund. He pays all their bills. He's there for them. He encourages them. But, he will pass away. What about if it's your boss? Your boss, they're sending you the paycheck. They're telling you all these, meditation things, be there on job on time, and this is what you're going to do. That's going to go away at some time. So I'm just saying, put your faith in something that's not going to go away. And the reason why I have fallen before is because I had my faith in something or somebody that left me. So the only person that hasn't left me is Christ, and that is a love. Christ, he's not a person to me. Christ is a love. Christ equals love. And that is infinite. So it's not a person. So you're asking me what I would tell somebody. Put your faith in something. It's not a someone. It has to be a something, because we're all just pieces of shit. We're all going to go back to the dust, right? You can't be a person. It has to be something infinite.
And there's and I always like to say to people, there's always something out there you can draw on, but you have to be willing to seek it out. I
Seek
know
and
that
you'll find.
at,
Absolutely.
at some
Absolutely.
of them, if you're passing a church on a Sunday, walk in. If you're passing a temple on a Friday night, stop in. If you live near a mission, go to the mission and volunteer your services. Be of service to others. That will get you pointed in
Yes.
the right direction, at least headwise, for a minute.
That's very
Anyway,
true. Very true.
you ever done volunteer stuff at a mission? Oh my God.
Yes. I've served people at Thanksgiving and all, the homeless people or whatever. And when we didn't have shit, me and my kids, I said, you know what, let's fucking go to this. And then you realize that you don't have it so bad. There is always someone that is worse off than you, unfortunately. But I'm just saying, it gives you something like, fuck, it puts you in perspective. So if you're constantly doing things to give your perspective a little bit more of a, okay, we're okay, and it's going to be fine. And even when I was like in the woods under a tree, I'm like, all right, well, this is a pretty good tree, and this blanket's a pretty good blanket, and at least I'm tough or whatever. And my ex-boyfriend came 2 days later and found me in the woods. I was just trying to prove a point. I didn't have a place to live, but my point is, and you ask it is my faith in God, but it's also my perspective and thinking, okay, it's not so bad. Someone else has it worse. It's not so bad. Now, if I've got needles sticking out of my arms, and fucking doing drugs like that, now let me tell you, I've never had a drug problem. I've never had an alcohol problem. I have done every drug on the planet. I've drank every kind of alcohol on the planet. I've as a gladiator, that's right. What you do. You party, okay? And thank God, I'm sure it's by the grace of God, I'm still here. But I don't have an addictive personality, so I don't know what that's like. And that's probably the most horrible thing. I have an addiction to choosing guys that are abusive. I had that because my dad was abusive to me. So therefore I picked guys who are abusive. So we all have our crutch. So even someone that maybe have a heroin problem, well, look, you still can walk on 2 feet. You still can have use of your arms. Look at these people that are in wheelchairs that are paralyzed. So see, that is a perspective. Okay, they'll be like, wow, you know what? You're absolutely right. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So you have to kind of think that way in a lot of situations.
Absolutely, it's perspective and it's choice. Do you know? Are you familiar with a guy named Nick Vujicic? Is that name familiar to you?
What's the last name?
Vujicic. I think Vujicic. He has a ministry. He's got a very successful ministry in San Diego. He's from England. He's known as the no arms, no legs guy. There's a reason.
Oh, yes. I've seen him. Yes. Sorry, my screen.
Okay, so you know who he is, right?
I've seen him. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Incredible sense of humor, character. Yes.
He's like my favorite human being on the planet. I mean, beautiful wife, beautiful kids.
You know him personally?
No, I don't. And I've reached out to him. I reach out to people I want to have on the show, and in doing that, have landed some pretty spectacular catches. And I'm bound and determined to get him one day. But when I do, I'm also going to ask how he made his family, because I love to mess with people like that. But I know, because nobody ever has the balls to ask him that question. So I have.
Speaking of balls.
Right, there you go. But I mean, there was a guy who was extremely depressed. He talks about it as part of his testimony, and look at him now. And then, remember a couple of years ago, in the space of a few days, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade committed suicide. I don't know if you remember that or not. They were both, multi-millionaires. They were surrounded with lots of people who ostensibly loved them, or at least were yes men to them. Yeah. They seem to have everything anybody could ever, materially want on this planet. Yeah. Yet look at the end result. So then you have the Nick Vujicics of the world and the Shannon Dallas Halls of the world. So the magical formula you've gotten me to today, because I don't have that answer, you provided this inspiration, is faith and hope combined with action. Little tiny baby steps, man, and you end up in a good place ultimately. Probably get harder before it gets better, no doubt about it. But
you know what, Rick? There's something else too that is a huge component into that. You have to be grateful for your life. Yes. You have to be grateful for your breath. You have to be grateful for your hands. You have to be grateful for the ability to speak, to be able to swallow. You have to be grateful for your life in general. And if you aren't grateful for it, it's going to get taken away. So I think the more that you feed that, the more that you feed your gratefulness and appreciation, you will be granted life. And when you take that for granted, it slowly gets taken away. So if there's nothing else there, if you can just say, I'm so grateful I can see my hands. I'm so grateful I can move my feet. Something starts to happen when you start doing that. That momentum changes. So instead of, oh my gosh, I hate myself. I wish I would die. No one loves me or whatever. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I can move my hands. Hey, I can see my feet. Hey, I can flex my arms. Hey, I can do this. I'm grateful to be able to see things. I'm grateful to be able to hurt. I'm grateful for my heart rate. So and something else Joel Osteen is very adamant about, the words that you sprinkle over your life is the seed that you're going to grow, or the seed that you're going to kill.
Absolutely. And Shannon, you know, it's like we haven't got to like battle about anything today. I'm like 100% in agreement with you again, because you're right. You said, well, we left gratitude out of the mix, and you're 100% right. So I want to revise our formula in a moment here to come up with like a summary of that. And you know, you're talking about the art, you know, moving and feet. Look at Nick Vujicic. I mean, when he was down, he didn't get to look at his hands and his feet because he doesn't have them, right? So he found something. And I can relate this to my personal experience, because when I remember when my wife and I were together, we did gratitude journaling every day, and we would write down. Yeah, it was really neat. We'd write down, and I'm happy to say that we are and always will be friends. She's remarried happily, and I'm really happy for her. Very happy for her. So we did gratitude journaling. She got me into that. After, you know, we were split and everything crashed at the same time, and I was at my lowest. I remember going to gratitude journal one day, and I came up with, I am grateful for my dogs, Marley and Ramon. And that's as far as I went. I could not come up with a second thing, Shannon. And why is that? It's not because there weren't things to be grateful for. It's because my mind and my heart had closed. So I know that now in retrospect. So okay, everybody, the Shannon and Rick magical formula is this: hope and faith plus action plus gratitude. And know this.
Yes.
No matter where you are and what, not you, because you already got this, but you can hear it too, of course. You actually authored this formula. But wherever you are, whatever's going on in your life, know that the potential for a better day always exists. The potential for a better moment always exists. It's just sometimes a simple shift of the mind.
Life changes like that. Like that.
Yeah.
Like, wait for this. Have faith for this. Wait for it. It changes. As quick as it got bad is as quick as it can get good. And sometimes it's a little bit longer for the good. But man, the earth and us on it, it's in constant state of change. Everything is a constant state of change. That's why when things are fucking amazing, hold on to those moments, because it's going to change a little bit. You know, I mean, we can control things, you know, somewhat, but you don't know what's going to happen. Okay. So when, man, things are good, be grateful for that and just like enjoy the moment. You know, depression is thinking of the past. Anxiety is thinking of the future. We all have both of those things, but to be in the moment, that's what being in the moment means, because that is really all that you have. And so even when the moment is shitty, hold on, it's not going to be shitty forever, okay? So the test of your soul and of your character is how long can you deal with it? So the way that you deal with it when things are really shitty is, I can fucking move my finger. Look, I can fucking scratch my eye. Look, I can move. And this little bitty mind games get you through to when someone says, look, you just got this brand new job. You're hired. Or look, this opportunity came up, and you're like, oh my God, that was amazing. So while you're moving your fingers and being grateful and toes, that gets you through like the hard times. I mean, honestly. So these are like the little games that go through my head like that. Okay, I have a nice soft blanket here. I have a chair that somebody gave me. That means somebody cares about me. I'm pretty sure that no matter what happens now, I have the tools to make it, to move forward. And that is the Rick and Shannon formula, bro. So easy. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's going to get rough. You have to love you first. You have to be grateful for your breath. If you can find those two things, the strength is there, man. It's there. And you don't have to be like a superhero, pro wrestler, fighter. What do all these people have that other people don't have? I mean, number one, we got balls this big, okay? So we got balls this big, and, we can stay on this roof, but we get knocked to our feet and our hearts. Rick, and as you know, because you talk to all these athletes, we're strong people and we kick ass, but our hearts are, you talk about the vulnerability. That's the name of the show. The bigger the heart, the bigger the vulnerability. And so we hurt probably more than the normal people because we put ourselves out there. We're gladiators, bro. So, yes, we get hurt, if not more than anybody. It hurts worse. So that's how you do it.
Shannon, I don't know about you, but I've loved this conversation today. This has been really good. And we're at an hour, and I don't want to keep you. I know it's late your time. So let's go to something really important to wrap up. Can you give us one good story about beating up a boy? Come on, let's wrap with something heavy.
Wait. Do you mean like a bar fight or like a ring fight?
Anything good, whatever you think people will find entertaining in a perverse sort of way. Absolutely.
Okay, but there's so many, so you have to categorize the fight. You have to categorize because I do mixed wrestling, and I still wrestle men because I fucking love it. Okay.
You do the mixed wrestling thing? I didn't know.
I have done mixed wrestling for 25 years, just with certain people and people that I like.
You must be killing men from coast to coast. Oh my God.
Dude, people pay me last year I got paid $500 to break a guy's jaw. So go.
Do you know my friend Jennifer Thomas?
Yes, I know. It's Session Girls. I'm on there. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Jennifer is one of my really close friends also. Session Girls. I had no idea. Oh my God. I would be terrified if you came through the door. Wow. No,
well, see, but you pay for it. It's like role play. It's role play. And I love it. It's the most fun. It is the most comic relief thing that I have in my life. And it's the funnest thing. And it's I still get to whoop some ass and I'm still a professional fighter in and of that way, So, so you're saying beating up a boy, I beat up men, I break their jaws if they pay me.
Give us a beating up a man in a bar fight story.
I was just telling this to my daughter, my 15-year-old daughter. She does weightlifting, boxing, MMA. She's still trying to figure out her life. We were just having a conversation on the beach tonight as we were jogging. And I said, we were going down Flagler Avenue in New Smyrna. I said, Meanda, your mommy's undefeated on Flagler Avenue. She's like, what are you talking about? I said, okay, when mommy was about 26 years old, I was in the bar, had a few beers. I was watching a band, and the band was kind of gay looking, and they had little strings around their hair, and they look like lover boys. When Loverboy, remember Loverboy a long time ago, MTV.
Turn Me Loose, working for the weekend.
Yes. So these guys were like Loverboy, and they kind of look, kind of gay. They kind of look like, excuse me, I love gay people, but to us, I'm like, you guys look so gay. Y'all look like, not gay good, but gay weird, okay? So I was like, I said, look at Loverboy up there on the stage. And so this girl came behind me. She tapped me on the shoulder, and I said, what's up? I was a tough woman world champion right now, so I'm pretty sure my head was shaved or some crazy shit. She goes, that Loverboy on stage is my boyfriend. And I go, oh, Loverboy. I said, so that means he's straight, right? And I started laughing, and she fucking slapped me, right? She fucking slapped me. I had a beer in my hand. I was like, psh. I was just like, so I dumped my beer on her head. One of those moments where you just go, fuck you, without saying fuck you. I dumped my beer on her head. She starts scratching to the high heavens or whatever. Her boyfriend, that was a lead singer, jumps off the stage and grabs me from the back. So she's like, I'm still laughing. I think we're just partying, right? So she's scratching. I pour the beer. He jumps off the stage. We start fucking swinging at each other, and it goes down outside. So I had a sweater on. So Loverboy, I still call him Loverboy, we're standing on the street, and I'm like, fuck you. And I'm looking around. So I was drunk, right? Imagine that. So he comes over, and I go to take him down. And when I go to take him down, one second. Oh, I was when I had shorts on. God dang. So I went. I thought I didn't have any pants on. So I went to take him down, and he grabbed my sweater. So he pulled. You remember the old trick, Rick, when you pull the sweater off so it tied their hands?
Of course.
So he pulls my sweater right here, and he's in front of me. And so I did like a baseball bat, and I went, whoa, like a baseball bat, right? So tell my daughter did the back spin thing, went, boom, and knocked him out with my arm. So Loverboy went, whoo. So Loverboy did like a spin. Sorry, I had to get all animated and everything. So I knocked Loverboy to the ground like this with my spin on the fucking thing, and then I fucking ripped my fucking sweater off, and I had like a bra on and shit like that, like sports bra. So I'm like, come on. And so the police started coming, and then the owner of the bar was a really good friend of mine, and there was another bar across the street. So fucking go to the other bar. So me and my friends ran to the bar, and I hid behind the bar when the police came, so they couldn't find out where I was. He was trying to press charges and all this shit, and I disappeared. So my friends like hid me under the bar. So that was a boy fight, and so I knocked Loverboy out with a double-handed sweater like a bat. So that was it.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. We had a very heavy, very amazing conversation, and I thought it'd be fun to wrap up with something like that. Maybe not everybody find it entertaining, but I know our listeners will. So that is great.
Was that not? Are you not entertained? Holy shit!
No, I'm extremely entertained.
We're entertained about shit like this, Rick. You know, this is the stuff that we know really happened, that we really did. Other people like, yeah, right, that really happened, but we unfortunately know that we do this shit. You know, so
yeah, I know. Any story you told me, I knew it. I know it's happened. I know that. Oh my gosh. Well, Shannon, it's been great seeing you. I'm so glad we're in touch. And
yes.
I'm going to be back in touch with you because I'm now playing Cupid between Dallas and Predator. That's his nickname. And that's his wrestling name. It's not indicative of his personality. And
God, that's good. Shit.
Yeah, of course it is. And apart from that, let's just be in touch. It's really, really nice to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and congratulations on the success of your show and everybody that's on. I think it's wonderful to be part of a great group, so good for you.
Well, thank you so much, and keep on being you. I look forward to connecting again soon.
Oh, awesome. Maybe I'll come see you in Maui, so maybe Hawaii's on the map, so
Please,
I have to come visit you.
Anytime, my friend. I'd love to see you here.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Shannon. All right. Well, that was fun. John, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Hey. I know you had texted. So I asked if you had any questions for Shannon if she had done pro wrestling. And the reason I didn't put that to her on the show is I do know about Shannon and pro wrestling, and I had actually, in the heyday of UPW, I had introduced her to Jim Ross and Bruce Pritchard, and they were very interested, and she was interested, but at the end of the day, we just couldn't work out the terms. It's not something that she grew up with. She wasn't dying to do it or be in it. And back in those days, John, as I know you know as well as anybody, it had to be in your blood. You had to be willing to sacrifice everything, do anything for free for prolonged periods of time. And she was more about making sure it was going to take care of her. I mean, she wanted to do it. She's physical. She obviously could have done it. This was in China's heyday. But she just wasn't willing to sacrifice everything for it. And I understand that. I respect that. So that was it for Shannon and pro wrestling. She probably would have been good though, huh?
Yeah, I would think that she would fit in pretty damn well.
Yeah, she would have been the new China. That's for sure. No doubt. And a lot more athletic too, certainly. But anyway, man, that was good, positive, I think, all in all. And God, it just flowed. It was fun. Thank you as always, John, for arranging and producing, my friend.
You got it. No problem. Great show.
Thank you. Well, it'll be on YouTube, depending upon where people are looking at. If they're listening on our podcast platform from talking-tough.com on Launchpad DM. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, and it's just youtube.com/Rick Bassman. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want just the audio version of the podcast version to share, please check us out at talking-tough.com, and you can download the podcast right there under episodes. It's Rick Bassman here on Maui, signing off for myself and the awesome producer of Talking Tough and of the Two-Man Power Trip and so many other quality podcasts, Mr. John Paz. Have a good night, John, and good night and aloha to everybody else out there. Rick Bassman signing off for Talking Tough.